Hey everyone. Wow. So today was a very cool day. I recorded several of my course videos for the next couple of days. And oh my God, it's so much fun to go down the rabbit hole of exploration on these things and like notice what like what ideas come to me. It's kind of like what I'm really finding fascinating about this process is, I've talked before about how it's really a co-creative process with my students where it's kind of like what needs to come through me, what naturally comes out of me, and then what comes out of them it's like it combines and starts to braid together, and before I know it, it's like an entire curriculum is popping out into the space, and that's just super fun to be part of. And what I'm noticing is I am, like last weekend I remember feeling a little bit like it was stressful to try and get ahead. I kept thinking about it as getting ahead on my videos, like doing a couple posts a couple days in advance to like give myself a little bit of a couple days where I didn't have to do a post every day, and I could just sort of slate them for the next, the beginning of the week. Basically, I managed to get like 3 done last week. And it was a little bit coming from this place of like trying to get ahead or trying to, have a cushion under me. There's a way in which I was almost evading the moment by doing that, by going about it that way. And this week I had sort of tracked that for myself, and I was a little bit more prepared to be like, no, I'm not trying to get ahead. I just am ready to let this information out. I'm ready to create these pieces. Like the thoughts are starting to come a little bit more fully formed and a little bit more just packaged a little better in my mind. And so that was really fun to experience this today, because it kind of stuff came through that really, gives me now I get a couple days where I have some content that I'm set for the next couple days, and now I can really look at, okay, well, now what about the rest of the arc of this thing? What about the rest of the time that we have left? We're going to start on week 4 tomorrow with the first group. Now, there's also other people entering the program, so all of this is kind of it's constantly shifting. But as I enter the back half of the course, really, what's the arc of this thing? What are we doing? What are we creating? And where does it want to go? It was really interesting to feel yesterday, I think, that after all this talk about, taking performance as a concept and performance as an imperative off the table, all of a sudden I'm at the same time now feeling like all I want to do is share music. I have some pieces under my fingers. I'm planning on sharing them very soon on this channel, just kind of like uploading stuff I'm working on. And a lot of it comes from it's work that I'm doing because I have picked up on pieces from my students. They've brought some great repertoire, and I'm learning it, so I can help them, but also because I'm falling in love with the repertoire as I'm working on it. So that's really fun, and I think that's the shift for me that's happening. Is I'm starting to see, and I'm starting to really resonate with, oh, there's an opportunity to be in discovery mode as I'm actually performing, which of course is what I've been saying all along in the course and all along to my students, and what I've also witnessed in, like, if I look at the greatest pianists and the greatest musicians that I've ever seen perform, none of them are in what I call performance mode, which is like this weird mode of like self-judgment and scrutiny and fear-based learning. It's all present moment, really just like total presence and creation in the moment. And I'm starting to feel that that's more and more possible for me. I'm starting to feel even my physical technique is beginning to manifest that more. There's more lightness, there's more ease, there's more kind of like faith. This is a thing I can talk about, and in my course actually is there's this way in which technique, technique is like where the rubber meets the road in terms of piano. It's like what your hands are doing on the keyboard. But there's also this really interesting way in which, our tendency is to hold on so tight. And the reason why most people's hands can't play like a concert pianist's hands can is not because there are any major mechanical differences between those hands, or because there are any major differences in strength between the hands of a concert pianist and the hands of a regular person, but it's about how much tension we hold in our hands. How much are we holding on to that keyboard for dear life as we play? And basically, a virtuoso pianist has essentially let go of all excess tension, and there's a psychological, for me, a kind of psychological and emotional feeling of faith in that, the letting go, which makes it possible to play a beautiful, brilliant run, is, of course, a focus on the minutia of that run. And it's not that we don't need to be incredibly focused and aware of what we're doing, but at the same time as we're really focused and aware, we're taking a big step back and a big breath in, and a kind of like real letting go, letting go and it's like having faith that we've done the work, that our hand knows what to do in those circumstances. And that's where that lightness comes from. And that lightness and that ease is where the agility and the brilliance and the kind of like the emotion comes from. That's where it feels like discovery mode. Even if you're playing some crazy fast Beethoven run, there's this way in which it's all play. It's all just sculpting light, letting sound come through, allowing. It's a process of allowing instead of a process of doing. And I think I'm finding that my work with my students is really reinforcing that in me. It's really engendering that and giving me even more space and capacity for that. Which, my God, could I ask for any more benefits of starting this business and doing this work? It's like I just keep being overwhelmed with gratitude. So yeah, so that's where I'm at today. Can't wait for another week. I'm having so much fun, and I look forward to, my students are just bringing it in spades. They're doing such deep work, such incredible, I could do 10 of these posts a day on all the amazing things that are happening. So anyway, that's where I'm at today, folks. Love you all. I appreciate you. Thank you for being in my life. I'll talk to you soon.